Welcome to The Closing Room, brought to you by Capital Title Insurance Agency. The Closing Room is an interview show where our guests are other professionals in the real estate industry who all have the same goal: help the customer get to the closing room. I'm your host, Tom Lico. My co-host today is the East Region Marketing Rep for Capital Title, Angie Clavette. Hey, Angie, how are we doing today?
Hey, how are you?
All right, thanks for joining us and filling in for Lisa. We got the holidays around the corner. You got all your shopping done?
Yeah, all done.
That's impressive. I know you got a big family.
Yeah.
But, it's my thing is I have everything ordered, not everything's in yet, and
That's true. I am kind of getting a little nervous as the days are coming on, and there's always a package on my porch, but it's not the one that I want.
Right. So a little concerned about that. This will be for our viewers. This will be our last episode of the year. We'll take a couple weeks off for the holidays, and we'll come back on January 7th for our next episode. But we're going to jump into the mortgage world today with one of the top loan officers, not only in Michigan, but in the whole country. And Angie, I know you spent a lot of time this year helping out doing closings for many of his transactions. So please introduce today's guest for us.
Sure, my pleasure. As a mortgage loan consultant, Joe does more than calculate mortgage payments. With more than 20 years of experience in the industry, Joe has had the privilege of counseling thousands of families on how to purchase and refinance their homes. His mantra, "I treat every customer as if they are my only customer," is what sets him apart in a competitive field. This, along with experience and work ethic, it is what keeps him in the top 1% nationwide in total closed volumes and units. Please welcome Joe Bigelman.
Welcome, Joe, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
First, I want to congratulate you on an incredible year you're having. And on behalf of Capital Title, we want to thank you for your business. You know, looking at your stats, I think you're at, through November, 555 closings, 156 million in business. It sounds like you're having a good year every month. So it's pretty impressive. So what I wanted to do, though, is I wanted to kind of go back in time a little bit and then walk us through your journey of what took you to the success that you're at today. Now, I know you're a Michigan State graduate. What was your major in school, and what careers were you looking at upon graduation?
Food industry management was my major, and I always thought I would own a restaurant, bar, or get into the food industry until I realized or learned about the failure rate of sole proprietorships in the food business, and,
really
knew
high.
It wasn't really something I was going to go into. Yeah. So, I actually started writing loans my sophomore year at Michigan State. So went right into the mortgage biz and realized real quickly that was where I was going to stay.
So did you still then finish your degree in food management, or?
I did. Yep. Stayed in the food industry management degree, and was writing loans full time. So, really went with the major, got really involved with the major, but any avenue that I found, any other job, I was so far into the mortgage industry that really anything else didn't seem like a good fit. I wasn't going to make as much money as quickly, and I was really enjoying the mortgage industry. So just really stayed with it.
How did you even end up in that? You had a friend, or you just a part-time job or internship?
Yeah. So my sophomore year at Michigan State, I saw one of the older classmen that I went to high school with who was already in the mortgage industry, and we were catching up, and I told him I was looking for an internship. He told me how great the mortgage business had been to him. And I said, hey, if I'm looking for an internship, can you get me an interview? And he said, you know what, we're just starting an internship, and got me an interview. And I was the first intern hired into the program. It was with Flagstar Bank at the time. And, the rest is history, really. I started, it was basically a cold calling internship. So we would cold call hundreds of people every night, get the leads for the loan officers, and then the loan officers would then teach us the business. So we'd call hundreds of people, learn about the business, and then within 6 months or so, I actually was with my boss. We went over to someone's house. At the time, Flagstar had a slogan, "We'll go anywhere, anytime for a home loan," which was true. We'd get the lead and we'd go take their application at their house. So my boss had taken me on an appointment to one of the customer's house. We're sitting down at the kitchen table. He goes through the application with them. We get back into the car and he says, "Hey, can you do that?" I said, yeah, I can do that. He says, okay, you're a loan officer. So no licensing, no, prior history other than, yeah, you could do that. I'm like, okay,
You're good.
So, yeah.
Well,
So from there on out, I was running the internship program, also became a loan officer, so people, interns were calling leads for me, and really learned the business that way, so.
wow, and you were still
Carrot,
just a kid too, man. That's impressive.
yeah. And
Did you
yeah, it
even
was
have
wild.
your own house at that time?
No, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, so this was my sophomore year getting into this thing. So I was
Wow.
like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And, as I went through school, I'd be in class, I'd get a phone call from a customer on my cell phone. I'd run out of class, take their information, tell them I'll call them back later, run back into class. All the teachers at that point knew that I was pretty far into the mortgage industry. Yeah, so through school, it was just busy doing loans, and by the time I was a senior, I called my dad and I said, hey, Dad, I don't need any help with school anymore. I'm able to pay my way, pay for my apartment, and I got spending money. And he he really asked me, hey, what are you doing? Are you selling drugs? What's going on in Michigan State? So I said, no, I'm in the mortgage industry and doing well. It was really the start of the refi boom, coming off of rates of 12, 13, 16%. Right. And rates when I got into it were 8 3/4 or less.
And that was a deal.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, so you joined John Adams Mortgage in 2003, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
And I know you were an early adopter in using a CRM program. What made you buy into that, and do you feel that helped lead to success early on in your career?
So when I started at John Adams, they brought in a speaker, Barry Habib. And for those who don't know Barry, he's been a world-renowned speaker in the mortgage industry for, it seems like, forever. Developed some CRM systems early, and that actual presentation by Barry was really important for my career in a lot of different ways. He had some different ways of looking at the industry and being more of a consultant rather than somebody who was just taking a loan application, more of an advisor role, and started with his CRM system. It was talking about it really before it took off in the world on how important it was. And I really believed what he was trying to say, and I bought into it and adopted it right away. I was doing the CRM drip email campaigns before most people in the area. I think it contributes huge to my success. And my database now is probably, over 6,000 customers, from having it for that long, and people I've done business with. So if I need to get something out to, my database quickly about a rate drop or about something going on in the industry, it's, I can put an email together, click a button, and it goes out to everybody right away. It's really an amazing system. Yeah. And it's changed throughout the years. It's gotten better and better.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure all software's improved over time, right?
You built quite the team to assist you. How do you walk the line of delegating to your team members without losing that personal touch that you're so well known for?
Yeah, it's some, customer service and personal touch is the most important thing to me out of anything. And all of my systems are designed around, first of all, at the front of the process, I'm the main contact. So whether it's running numbers on a home that somebody's interested in buying or figuring out on a refinance if it's worth it or not, I'm always very involved in that setting up of the process. And then the systems that I've created is, during the actual process of getting, all the busy work done, getting the conditions, working through the process with the underwriter, I leave that up to the team more unless there's an issue and they need to get me involved in it. And then I come back in at the end and really go through all the final numbers, make sure that they're comfortable with everything, and wish them well at closing. So, I think that touch at the beginning, the touch at the end is probably the most important part of the process for sure.
And then the team works with making sure I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. And, customer service is such an important piece of the puzzle that, I actually have a 20-spot campaign with the team. And what that means is anytime a customer or realtor gives a compliment to one of the team members on them giving good service, them going above and beyond, they get an extra $20. So it's, it's more incentive to, Yep, 20 spots. So, something good happens, it gets emailed out to the whole team. This is what the scenario was. Here's a 20 spot for so-and-so. Great job. And it's just a culture, right? It's that emphasis on customer service that's always there with the team.
That's awesome. Now, in dealing with growing customer base and a growing team, I know you decided to invest in yourself by hiring a business coach in 2019. How much of an influence has that had on your business and you personally?
Yeah, it's been pretty huge. Last year I had what was my biggest production year, as opposed to this year, which is definitely the largest. I told my boss at the time, where I was thinking about doing this, that, I'm doing all this production, which is great, but I think I've almost died 3 times this year based upon stress and working too many hours and not being proactive enough. And with the idea of, hey, this business coach, I want to be doing this my whole career. I don't want to burn out. I want to deliver high customer service levels. And I want to keep my production going, and I want to do business that I want to do, and I want to work with people who want to work with me. And how do I piece that all together? And that's where that business life coach comes into play. And it's been tremendous for me. I think I'm a better employee for the company. I think I deliver better service. My production levels are up 60 to 70% this year, which has a lot to do with interest rates. But but I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. I'm a better friend. My volunteer activities to the community are stronger. My racket skills are getting better from the sports I do. And I'm doing 60 to 70% less volume, and I haven't felt the stress that I felt last year this year. So, you put all that together, I think it's a pretty strong statement on thinking about your business from a bird's eye view. Whether it just be an hour a week or, an hour every 2 weeks or, whatever it is, consistently investing in yourself and your business to deliver what you want out of it.
Is that
really
how
important.
often would you meet with your business coach? Is that
So we have a scheduled meeting every other week for an hour, but he's always available to talk through anything. And, I'll call him about an interaction with a client to get his opinion on how I should handle it. I'll call him about something personal in my life that is affecting me, and I want to kind of talk it through with somebody. He's almost like not only a business and life coach, he's almost a shrink in a sense as well.
it's like he's your conscience, to help it.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? How nice is it to have somebody that you can bounce an idea off of that is really not intermingled with what you're talking about and maybe not biased like your wife or a good friend. You know what I mean? And talking through it gives you some really nice insight.
Right. Just that third party perspective. And
So
let's move on to 2020, and this involves Angie as well. The pandemic hit, everyone went home, interest rates plummeted. How were you able to adjust and handle the influx of loan applications and really in the change with how everyone reacted to it with closings?
Yeah. I've said a lot this year that I'm glad that the pandemic happened in 2020 and not in 2008 or 2000, because, without the technology, with Zoom, like we're doing this meeting, or, food delivery or Amazon, we forget how many luxuries we have this year. And that comes along with, our company's invested in technology for the last 3-4 years, not anticipating a pandemic and working from home, but to improve processes with the company. And that's really come into play this year because we've been mostly home office the whole year. And to do the tremendous amount of production that we're doing and being home office is, if you don't have the right technology, you can't do anything. So that's been huge this year for sure.
Well, and your teams got spread out too, because your team was across the hall from you in the office, and now they're all at home too, right?
Right. And there's challenges with that as well. When you're sitting next to somebody and you have to collaborate on something versus them being in a different home, that's tricky as well. So, I'm really proud of the team. I'm really proud of, our operations staff. They've worked endless hours to make it all happen and delivered, the volume we've done this year is huge compared to years past. And again, because of interest rates, but you can't do that without a lot of hard work. So a lot of planning, a lot of proactive approaches to it and figuring out as we go. One of the things with work and home office that I figured out really quickly is, you have to get up and go to work every day. You got to get up, you got to shower, you got to get dressed, you got to go into the office like you're going into the actual office. And I think that was really important precedence to set for my team and for myself, that, hey, we're getting up every morning. When I get on a Zoom call with you, I want you on the video. I want to see you. Let's know that this is a work day, and not slack off. And they didn't. I mean, I didn't even have to worry about it. But it sure changed how we did business, and probably changes how we do business in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And we also talked about, not everyone has reacted the same to this pandemic. How have you handled the varying demands of the closing process for your customers? Being in the closing room, or not want to be in the closing room, or not want to even come out in public. How have you guys handled that?
Yeah, that came on pretty quick. In February and March, nobody really understood this pandemic at all. Not that we, understand it completely now, but a lot of people were scared. And I was actually, working it through with my business coach at the time, and we talked about a closing and how to do it and make the closer feel comfortable, make the client feel comfortable. And thankfully, it was going into those spring months in Michigan, right? Instead of, going into the winter. But, we decided if we do something on a driveway and set out a table, and the table is sanitized, and a customer, the closer can walk up, put the documents down on the table, walk back, the client can walk up, pick up the documents, sign them all, walk back, the closer picks them up and leaves. That's a pretty safe way to do a closing. So, my next course of action was to try to figure out, are the closers comfortable with this? And as you guys know, a lot of the closers weren't comfortable doing closings at all.
Right.
And that's where my frontline hero comes into play. Angie was tremendous. I talked to her about the idea. She thought it was a great one, felt comfortable with it. And I don't know if you got the numbers, Angie, but we are so grateful for what you did for us this year. Probably hundreds of closings at people's houses, on their driveways, in their garages, on their back porch, wherever it was comfortable for them. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it was great. We set up a plan in the very beginning, and we just basically said, hey, we'll do whatever we need to do to get these things closed. And it was doable. And it's just a matter of everyone's comfortability. Like you said, some people were a little more comfortable. And as the summer came through, I mean, we were doing them on their front lawns, and then Joe would show up and, pull up in his Jeep, beep his horn, come out and talk to us. A lot of these people were his friends, or, people his kids played, sports with, or from his temple. So it was a nice way for him to kind of see his friends as well. So he'd come out and say hi on the lawn. So it was nice.
Yeah. You got a nice tour of all the neighborhoods in Metro Detroit then, didn't you?
Let me tell you that. You know how much I love homes, and I love decor. I would go home every night and throw rocks at my house. So many people, I would tell Joe, these people have beautiful homes. I would look at their decor and their landscaping. It was nice.
That's fun. So how do you juggle I know you're very close with your family. You got a lovely wife, Sharon, and 3 small children that you adore. How do you juggle that home and work life balance? Working from home, is that a big help to that? Because you are.
Yeah. Working from home is a huge help to it, because I can see them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But this is actually my biggest challenge in life is, how am I a better husband? How am I more present with her, with the kids, involved in everything? And it's really important to me. It's none of the production, none of any of it means anything if the family's not happy. And it's constantly something that I'm working on, whether it's, at every single meal, we take all our cell phones and put them, on a different counter so we can focus on each other, shutting down at maybe a certain time during the night. They know that I work a tremendous amount of hours, but, it is something I work on every minute of every day to pay more attention to them and to set up systems in place where I don't have to be micromanaging everything in the process, which is really kind of the key component of it. You need to have a good team behind you, and you need to do a good job up front, so you don't need to be involved in every single point of the process.
And you also give back to your community too. I know you do a lot with your temple, and I remember you telling me that you did some speaking at your alma mater, Michigan State. So also a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, with, listen, it's important for me to be healthy. And, so you got to take care of yourself too. And I love racket sports and I love my friends that we play with, whether it's tennis or squash or paddle tennis in the winter, pickleball, we just got introduced to. Those are great. I picked up mountain biking this year where I mountain bike hardcore trails and love that. It's a very intense thing. And a lot of the times when I'm going to do these things is at 6 in the morning. It's before most people are awake, before the workday gets started. But I don't have time in the afternoon. If I don't get things out of the way in the morning, then come the workday and then afterwards you're trying to spend time with the family, you just don't have time for it. So, it's really important for me to get up, get going, get those things underway. And then, Michigan State, I've been a guest lecturer there for the last, 5-6 years each semester, and teach about the home buying process, building your credit, everything that goes along with what I do every day. And it's really rewarding because, it's juniors and seniors and it's 200 kids in the class. And, when I start talking about credit, 70 hands go up and I answer questions for an hour, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And then, from a community standpoint, whether it's donating time to help those who are in need, or, my temple I'm very involved with. I'm the vice president now. I'll be the president in about a year and a half. That's really important to me, to give back to the community and, to help those that aren't really as fortunate as what we are. And, so that I make time for that too. And so you gotta, you have to figure out all the scheduling for all of those things. And it's not easy, but I don't sleep much. So it works.
But you have to be intentional about it, right? You have to make sure you take the time and make the time for those, the critical things. Like you said, okay, if it's 6 in the morning, then that's when I do it. But you make the time.
Yeah. And you have to be proactive, right? Not only with like the business you're doing and what you want to do and who you want to work with, and want to work with obviously people who want to work with you, but like, where are your priorities and how can you schedule it in a way that you can do everything that's important to you? Because that ends up being the meaning of life. I talk to so many clients who work all the time and they never have time to look at themselves for whether it's health, whether it's, finance, or, I don't have time to get to my, making sure my bills are in order and my finances are in order, I'm saving the correct money. But what's it all for, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, you need to focus on it. And the life coach helps me with that too. I was just going to say, before I really started moving in this direction, and I said I almost died 3 times last year earlier, your body talks to you, right? Like you start to get sick more, and I was feeling that stuff happening. You start to gain weight, and I think your body whispers until one day it hits you with a 2x4 and knocks you over. So, you better listen to the whispers.
Yeah, you're right. Your body has a way of shutting down. If you won't shut it down, the body will shut it down for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So these are great lessons for anyone, I think, new into the industry or seasoned in the industry. Just your journey and how you've learned and you continue to learn and continue to grow is impressive. Not just sitting on your laurels and go, okay, even next year, how can I be better? And that's outstanding stuff.
Thank you.
Now it's time for our Up Close from a Distance segment. This is where we take a minute to get to know you a little better while maintaining our social distance. I'm going to ask you 10 questions, and I need the first answer that comes to mind, and you have 60 seconds. Are you ready? Number 1,
Go.
Did you go to a sleepaway summer camp as a kid?
Yes.
Yes. Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Would you rather have dinner with Tom Izzo or Mark D'Antonio?
Izzo, 100%.
Okay. Have you ever seen Kid Rock in concert?
Only at the halftime show at the Lions game.
All right. Which TV show is better, Seinfeld or Friends?
Seinfeld.
All right. Would you rather have super strength or invisible powers?
Ooh, super strength.
Okay. Would you rather go to Disney World or Cedar Point?
Neither.
All right. COVID is over. COVID is over. Where's your first vacation?
COVID is over. Where's my first vacation? California.
All right. For your dinner entree, chicken, steak, or fish?
Steak.
And if you're channel surfing, What movie will you always stop to watch the rest of?
Ooh, Jurassic Park.
Okay. Well, hey, you got 10 out of 10, so you win our home version of the game. Thanks for
All
playing
right.
along. Should any of our viewers need a pre-approval or refinance, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
They can call me at 248-813-4925, or they can email me at joe@johnadamsmortgage.com.
All right. That's our show for this week and for the year. Thank you again, Joe, for being our guest today. And also thank you to our sponsor, Capital Title, for making this possible. To our viewers, hang on for a few seconds and you can view our humorous meme of the week. And then we're taking the holidays off and we'll be back on January 7th, where we hope to see you in the closing room.